is. But yeah, I just assumed it was an Okay, I just assumed it was an actual octopus thing.
Me too.
I was like, this is some TikTok thing I'm not aware of or something.
Yeah, that was me. I just assumed like NFT thing.
So it's scoring a touchdown and then the same person scores a 2-point.
Okay, so when you click it and add it to a bet slip, they say, will any player score a touchdown in the ensuing 2-point conversion? Why in the world is that called an octopus?
I could tell you why. 8 points, baby.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, man.
That is it. Why is that stupid though?
Let's fucking go, boys. Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Awesemo.com NFL strategy show. Wildest, wackiest, weirdest props for Super Bowl 56. I'm kidding. We got some great props for you. They're not all crazy props at all. We're actually legitimately trying to give you some of our favorite props for Super Bowl 56. A couple weird ones, a couple fun ones. We didn't include this. By the way, happy to have you with us. As always, today's show presented by Prize Picks. And hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to join, hit join down below as well to become part of the team. We didn't include this, but I had seen octopus plus 1,400. And I thought, is this a Red Wings game? You know, are they throwing octopi onto the field? Greg Ehrenberg joining me along with Matt Savoca. Let's bring them on the screen, Mike. Tells me prior to the show that he originally thought it was the same thing, but after further investigation found out, Greg, that it's not an actual live octopus at all.
No, it's not an octopus. I thought it was an NFT because, you know, I just see animals and like, yeah, this must be what it is. But you had asked us that, like you said, guys, find the wackiest, craziest, most bizarre props ever. And let's run a real radio. Yeah, exactly what he said, verbatim, word for word. And he sent to our graphics firm, guys, we need wacky, wavy, inflatable flailing arms too, man. We want this to be as goofy as possible for this show. And so I was just searching through the DK Sportsbook, FanDuel Sportsbook. I'm looking at the novelty props, and I come across this thing. Will there be an octopus plus 1,400? I'm like, what the hell is this? So I immediately sent it to you in Slack. Never did I think to click on the bet for an explanation, but apparently if a player scores a touchdown, then converts the 2-point conversion afterwards, as you astutely pointed out, that's 8 points. Therefore, it's called an octopus, which apparently some people know that's a thing.
Yeah, Matt, it's got to be the eight tentacles, right? I mean, I don't think there's any other explanation. But you and I, when Greg told us that, we're like, wait. That's the name of an actual sequence of plays that happens in the NFL. Apparently it is.
Like that is a football term. Like I had no concept that was a football term. I totally get it. And hats off to you for making that logical jump instantly. I was like, why in the world is it called this? But you got it in an instant. It's that 8 tentacles, of course, that 8 points. My answer is a big fat no on that one, by the way. I don't think anyone's getting that as good as both these offenses have been. I too thought it was a live octopus. When you click it and add it to your bet slip, that's when you see it. So yeah, when you say like wild and wacky, do you guys remember it was like a Nickelodeon show in the early 90s, like Wild and Crazy Kids?
Of course. Yeah.
It was like that low, like Wild and Crazy Kids.
Yeah. It's like Jordan's intro for the deeper dive.
Which every single day, I don't know if he does that when you do it, but he never wants to play it. He always tries to come up with an excuse why we can't do it that day. Yeah. So we'll transition from deeper dive to live before lock, and he'll say, "Oh, we're running a little short. Guess we can't do the intro today." Like he never wants. Just record a different one, Jordan. Record a different one. I know you're hungover today. Record a different one.
I love how he masked his voice too, like 14 octaves lower. It's too good. He joined us for yesterday's ranking show. We did that at night. Had a ton of fun. So check that out if you haven't done so yet. But before we dive into it, shout out to our sponsor, Prize Picks. Free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum simply by using the link in the description or the one that our producer Mike is going to throw in the chat right now. Every single thing on our site, every single sport, $90 value. All you do is sign up at Prize Picks, check out their awesome platform. And when you do, use the promo code Awesemo because you get a $100 deposit bonus on top of that when you use the promo code AWESEMO. I mean, it's a win-win-win because you get the free month, you get the $100 deposit bonus, and you get to play on a sick site. You can go to prizepicks.com. You could download it in the App Store, the Google Play Store, wherever you want. Check it out. Player prop platform. There's no juice on either side. You're just taking the overs, the unders, building lineups out of that. You can 10x your entry fee. And even if you hit 4 of 5 on a 5-player lineup, you still 2x. You still make money back on 3 of 5. Great place to play. Great place to sign up and get a free month of Awesemo. All of our tools created by Alex Baker himself. And lastly, of course, $100 deposit bonus. Take advantage of that. Awesemo is the promo code. The link is in the description. Check it out. Prize Pick, sponsor of the NFL Strategy Show. So, Matt, I did a little digging today. You know, ever since COVID, you get a little lazy in life, and now you can do the online order. So Justine orders it, all the groceries, and I'll go and I'll call them. Hey, I'm Dave in spot 2. It's in the white Jeep Grand Cherokee. You'll see me. And they come out, right? I mean, we've gotten lazy. And then you pop open the trunk. You don't even pull your trunk open anymore. You live in Manhattan, so you don't know about cars. You don't even know.
I know about curbside. Yeah, I've never seen a car in my life, so right. It's one of those things. It's totally foreign.
So I'm at least courteous, and I come out. It's usually younger people. I help them lift the bottles of water, you know, everything, whatever. Anyway, I'm sitting there, and I decided I'm going to research the national anthem a bit, and I believe I found an edge today.
Oh, really? I'm very excited to hear this. They just
I don't believe you.
Who it was.
I don't believe you.
No, you don't buy. Okay.
I don't believe you for a second.
So it's probably 100% untrue, but you have a young, I think, what's her name? Mickey Guyton, I believe, singing the national anthem, right? The first 2 times she sang it on record, it's been shorter, but this is a time to make a name for yourself. And over the past, decade or so, most of these have gone over. What do we have it at? 90 seconds, I think it was, Matt, 98 seconds.
Yeah, and I've seen it as low as 95. So obviously that's the way it's being pulled. It's being pulled towards the under.
I think Mickey Guyton's looking to make a name for herself, boys. And I think this is going to be one with some real theatrics. And I like her. I don't know her, but she said in America, we're so divided lately and it's hard to watch. All I want to do is bring people together. So I like her already. I'm taking the over 98 seconds. She's going to blow that out of the water. We're going 2 minutes, boys. Give me Mickey Guyton over 98 seconds, Greg.
So just in the interest, as if I have any real lean on this, the interest of being contrarian, I would agree with you if she was younger, but I just went and looked up her age. She's 38, right? So she's a little more mature in the game. It's not like she's some 22-year-old who's really looking to be, showy or anything like that. I would think younger, they're really trying to make it about themselves, maybe a little older, a little more mature, and you're just there to get your job done.
Maybe he doesn't have enough air in the lungs anymore either.
Could be a little past the prime.
Wait. The mid 30s is singer's prime. So no.
38. That's late 30s.
Okay, but we're talking about the prime of singers' careers. Absolutely.
And you would know.
A little bit. I mean, I actually thought I was going to be the contrarian one saying that there's a possibility of the over here because we have performances on record for her that you could have given her an extra 10 seconds and she still hits the under.
Yeah.
But here's the little angle I'm playing and why I'm leaning towards the over as well. First of all, it's a little bit more of a payout if I win. Second of all, there's a flyover and a big one at the Super Bowl, and you need time to set that up.
Oh,
and so I wonder if this ends up being something like it needs to be between 100 and 120 seconds every single time to time up these massive planes flying over the field. Obviously, like they could sync it up to the end no matter what the timing is, but it's just a hunch of mine that you might need a little bit more runway, if you will, if you have that big of an event happening over top. Just a hunch, and that's why I'm leaning the over. I thought I was going to be contrarian, but Laffy, you started us off there.
Yeah, I just think we're trending in a direction in this country where everything has to be above and beyond, right? Nothing can just be classy anymore. And I'm not saying it won't be. I think she'll be great, but everything's just got to be intense. And I think that's what we're going to get. So we'll see. But I'll tell you this much, playing in front of that many people, she's, but first of all of the books that offer this are just janky as shit. So they'll screw you anyway. I would always have my wife like make some stupid bets on these ones before, like years ago. So she would have, Like, what color will Adam Levine take his shirt off? And she'd be like, oh, I'm sweating this at halftime, right? What color shirt will he wear?
But by the way, I think you've misunderstood what it was she was sweating.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, you think she gave a shit about the bet or your money? Lofty, please.
The moment I said that, I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. But I would always like let her do that stuff. So the one year I was like, let me bet the national anthem. It turns out that a lot of these books count the end of it from like the beginning of the last word. So if you were to repeat the word brave 3 times, they only count the first time you do it. So bottom line here, don't bet the national anthem. I mean, am I wrong?
It's fun to argue.
Do you think they're just skewing it towards whichever side is more of the handle?
100%, dude. Yeah, of course. I don't think there's any doubt about that because the overhit or the underhit in that one, and I think way more money was on the over. So.
And one thing that makes this tough is that they definitely pre-record them. And I wonder if people have the inside knowledge, especially by tomorrow night. So it's hard to make this a legitimate bet on all the regular sports book. I'd love to see it though.
Oh yeah, they're definitely leaked, right? Like they gotta be.
Or sound check. People just know.
Agreed.
It's hard to, yeah.
All right, cross sport bets. Let's dive into this and let us know, guys. What are your favorite bets too? I'm always interested to see what the people have to say on top of what we're talking about here. Little cross sport action, Greg. Do you have anything that stands out to you that you really like coming into the Super Bowl?
Yeah, so I want to pull up to see if the number has changed, but so here's something I was eyeing because I actually think there is an edge to be had here. Agreed. We don't usually see NBA player props posted multiple days in advance. The reason being is because we know how the NBA injury report is ever changing. So this is going to be more of a broad sense, and then I'll get into more of the specifics. But if we see players that are listed on the injury report for Sunday, we should just kind of approach it as, oh, this is a potential value situation like an NBA DFS. And there's an opportunity to all of a sudden get a player with increased usage, maybe increased assist rate that just hasn't been taken into account for because these lines are set so far in advance for NBA props, which just never happens. Like if, for instance, it is 11:17 on Friday. We don't even have all the props up for tonight's NBA games. We've got random props up for Sunday NBA games now. So that's something to keep an eye on in terms of potential value there could be. Yeah. So one thing that I saw was there was a Karl Anthony Towns points plus rebounds +1 against Joe Burrow's pass attempts -1. Look at the injury report that the Minnesota Timberwolves have right now. They've had so many guys on and off the injury report as of late. And just pulling up their players right now, they have for tonight. Anthony Edwards is questionable. D'Angelo Russell is questionable. Patrick Beverly is questionable. Taurean Prince is questionable. Naz Reid is questionable. And Josh Okogie is questionable. This is a team dealing with a whole bunch of injuries. So if we're going to see these guys still kind of banged up come Sunday, I actually really do legitimately like the Karl Anthony Towns side of that prop because I think he could be in line for a lot of added usage.
Love it. I do think you're right though about there being edges in some of these spots. You got to find what book is that? A specific book that you're looking at?
DK.
It is on DK. Okay, cool. Matt, what do you have?
You know, I'm looking at some of these. The injuries are the obvious way to play this, but also these total touchdowns versus threes made. You know, Trae Young has been meh at the 3-point line, but Cincinnati Bengals total touchdowns or Trae Young threes made. These are wild bets. First of all, I'll take Trae Young all day there. I guess it is juiced a little bit towards his side, but still, these are really fun. I got to check this out more.
Oh yeah,
dude,
cross-sport bets are awesome. Are you only looking NBA, Greg, for cross-sports? Because that's usually where I go as well.
It's hard because also there's these other what do I know about hockey, right? You know, what am I going to do with any of that? Then there's some weird golf ones that I've seen up here, which I don't. There's soccer ones. I don't know anything about that. There are MMA ones which I could kind of scroll through this, but also I don't really know what to make of that. That's really specific. So. Also, we just found out James Harden officially has been ruled out because of his hamstring injury the next 2 games. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, I'm looking at NBA because that's one that I actually do think has legitimate value for the reasons I outlined before.
I wonder if he really is dealing with a hammy. Did Did you see did you see the All-Star draft yesterday?
Oh yeah.
It was so
awesome.
funny.
Oh, it was great, man. It was so good. And you know, Charles and KD have had their moments too, where they haven't exactly been fond of each other, but I thought that was so good. All right, let me talk about this next one. I found this one interesting. And what do you guys think too in chat? The first touchdown score jersey number. So let's work through this, right? The first touchdown score jersey number under 23 and a half.
I love this. And so sorry to cut you off.
No, please.
I just recorded a prop video with Aton this morning. It's going to go up on the Odd Shopper channel. You guys should also be checking out, liking all the videos, subscribing to that channel. I gave out the same bet you're about to give out here.
Let's hear it, dude. Go for it.
Yeah. So the under 20, I don't really understand why the jersey number is 23 and a half. Think about the players in this game.
I know.
Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, either the quarterbacks have a rushing touchdown. Cam Akers is under 23 and a half. This is a weird line to me. Like almost other than Joe Mixon, every player that we consider relatively likely to score the first touchdown in this game has a jersey number under 23 and a half. So I just think the numbers are wrong.
So it's T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, right? Both of those guys are over. But like you just said, Cooper Kupp. Well, okay. How about let's have some fun with this. Why don't we pull up first touchdown score odds?
Yeah.
Can you pull that up on the screen, Mike?
And I'm pulling up on my phone right now also.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up as well. But I'm curious to see. DraftKings is
way too much of the probability, first touchdown probability on the under. You just get way too much.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, okay, Cooper Kupp, first score plus 500, Mixon, so plus 750. But then you have Akers that must be the only reason it's 23 and a half, right? For Akers, because he's 23. Like that's the line.
I think he's 20, or is he 23 and a half?
Oh,
he's 23.
Yeah, Akers is 23.
Yeah,
you get
23.
Beckham, you get Kupp, you get Chase, you get both quarterbacks.
Beckham,
you get Akers,
Beckham. Yep. So if I'm seeing this correctly, Matt, 4 of the top 5 in terms of odds with the shortest odds to be the first touchdown score are all under number 23.
I think we're done here.
Yeah, and then 2 of the next guys, by the way, are Tyler Higbee and CJ Uzomah, who are both hurt, and we don't even know what their deal is.
Right. That's crazy. I mean, it's a good bet.
Mixon burns you. I get it. Mixon burns you, and so does T. Higgins. But yeah, well, that's the game you got to play.
Yep. And to be fair, like first team to score, I have the Rams anyway, as far as touchdowns go. That's obviously a decision that you can make on your own, but I would imagine the odds would also have them. The Rams are right. They gotta be favored to score first. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about this from just like a pure probability standpoint this week. If you're trying to guess the first team to score, I think that before you know the coin toss or the kickoff or anything like that, it's simply the win probability at time of kickoff is the probability of scoring.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Okay. See, these are the wacky ones, Greg.
Oh, these are the wild, crazy ones, off the wall.
But I think stuff like that can actually be useful, right? There, not a lot of people are looking at those, but maybe you can actually find a slight lean one way or the other, opposed to Gatorade, which we'll mention, but not for any real specific reason other than you just kind of have to. All right, player matchups. Is there anything? These can be fun sometimes, right? Especially if you're using the projections, Matt. If you're looking at our projections. You can go on DraftKings. You can go wherever you want, really, because all these are everywhere. Not all books have the cross sport props. A lot of them, you're not going to get those novelty props, which is probably a good thing. But when it comes to the player matchups, is there anything that stands out to you?
I'm so sorry. I lost where the player matchups was. One thing I will say about these sports.
Go to Super Bowl specials and then player matchups. I'll go to you first, Greg. I'll let you pull that up.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so I have it open right now. And something else I'm going to mention, this is going to back up Matt's point. And somebody posted this in YouTube chat too. Who was it? Somebody had said that they just, oh, here it is. Kevin Clunan had said that he just opened a FanDuel account and the book makes it so difficult to find certain props. Yeah, I agree. They need to find that. They need to make it a little bit easier to navigate some of these props because it really is overwhelming. If you're opening up a sports book for the first time, just about a lot of people are right now for the Super Bowl, considering how many states it's getting legalized in right now. It is fairly difficult to find a lot of these props. It's just kind of thrown into a whole bunch of different tabs. But yeah, if you are looking for it, you click on Super Bowl specials in the DK Sportsbook app, then you click on player matchups and you'll see stuff like, Jamar Chase to outscore Joe Mixon fantasy points, most touchdown passes, Matthew Stafford versus Joe Burrow, stuff like that. So for me, I actually like Matthew Stafford minus 120 passing yards over Joe Burrow quite a bit. I'm really concerned about Joe Burrow's ability to stay on his feet in this game. Obviously, his wide receiver weapons are terrific. He's had a really good season, just won comeback player of the year. But he does not have a good offensive line. And the Rams have Aaron Donald and Von Miller on the other side. This could really be a spot where we see Joe Burrow sacked a whole bunch of times like we saw in that game where they played against the Tennessee Titans. And I just worry that kind of pressure is going to limit the Bengals offense overall. I do like the Rams quite a bit in this game. So Matthew Stafford versus Joe Burrow, when it's, about even odds for who's got more passing yards, I lean towards Stafford.
I love it. I think you and I have a similar read on this game that it could be won in the trenches. And if that's the case, yeah, things could get ugly. I'm going to piggyback that in a sense. I told Matt on Thursday that I will die a broken man on the Van Jefferson hill. So I'm going back to that. Here's why I can't, Stafford has dropped back 110 times in the postseason. Jefferson's ran 100 routes, right? He's running routes on over 90% of dropbacks. He's playing 90+% of snaps. You guys are so sick of hearing this who are watching this. I know, but even last game, like 5 targets, we got to pay attention. I think he's going to be okay, but he's had 2 weeks to heal up that knee a little bit. He's plus 125 to have more receiving yards than Tyler Boyd. And if I can get plus money on a guy who only needs 1 reception to give you that big play to put you over the hump, right? Because you don't need him to be a possession guy. You get 140, 50-yard reception for Van Jefferson, which is still possible, even though he struggled. And Tyler Boyd might give you 5 for 37. So I'm going Van Jefferson at plus money, plus 125, more receiving yards than Tyler Boyd. I actually like that a lot.
I dig it. And, Tyler Boyd, I think he's averaged 4.5 yards per reception in the playoffs.
Brutal.
Like, even if he gets a lot, and it was like a season-long average of around 8.8. So it's way down this year. This postseason. It might lean closer to the average, but Van Jefferson's at like 15 yards of reception. So they're just very different players if he hits, especially when you got him at plus 125 there. I have a set of my DFS lineups and a set of my bets that I've just labeled the don't overthink it area of my draft, of my bets here, because I want to have plenty of action on Cooper Kupp in case he is by far the best player in this game, like he has been in most games he's played all season. So Cooper Kupp plus 105 to have more receiving yards against Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. I don't think it's the most likely outcome here, but it's something that really interests me here. I'm going to go with that bet there if I'm looking at one of these matchup plays. Higgins and Boyd together, they don't even have to have a huge game for the Bengals to stay competitive. It's really about Chase for me. So, there are much better bets for Cooper Kupp, but I kind of like those odds there for him there as well.
These are also fun bets to sweat, Greg, because you're like, if it's one against the other, you're always sweating one side of it, no matter who has the football.
Yeah. And I mean, and it's theoretically always live, no matter what side you're on, because
right.
It could be 75 receiving yards to 25 receiving yards. Team gets the ball last possession of the game. There could be, a long touchdown pass at any point in time. So it's never a dead bet.
What else do we got here on the docket? Oh, okay. Player specials. Now this is whatever you guys want, right? Whatever you guys want, anything we want to throw out there. So here's what I'm going to do. I'll kick this off. It doesn't even have to be a player special, but just any specific prop that stands out to you. Mike, remove that Bengals with a catch from the sidebar, because I'm going to use it here. So this one's fun. but CJ Usama has to be not limited to a set snap count. And if that's the case, I'm going under 6.5 Bengals with a reception in this game. I'll tell you why. The window's tight, right? Because the ceiling's basically 7. The floor is basically 5, right? So you have to hit that window. But all 3 playoff games and the last game Joe Burrow started in the regular season, there were either 5 or 6 players with a reception. In some games, he only targeted 5 or 6 players, right? Most of them, as a matter of fact. Last game, he targeted 7, but that was only because Usama got hurt and Drew Sample had a target or 2. But if you look at the way this team is constructed, and by the way, the under's at plus money. If anything, they should be even on both sides, in my opinion. Unless you're running trick plays, or you get like a big man touchdown reception, I think you can hit the under here, and you're getting it at even money. T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, the only 3 wide receivers to get any snaps here, right? Don't give me like Mike Thomas might play 1 snap. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And then Joe Mixon, and it's not even a lock that P. Ryan has a reception. Am I counting him for 1? Yes. But if Usoma comes in and he seems pretty confident and he's not limited, I don't think Sample's going to be in the mix. You get Usama, there's your 6. So it really is just a matter of whether he's limited. And I also think these tight ends could be kept in to block more against Von Miller and Aaron Donald, which just gives you more of a reason to think that we hit under 7 there at even money. So that's what I'm going with, Greg. It's a fun one.
Yeah, no. And I mean, you just laid out the logic, which I think makes a whole lot of sense. And I mean, one that I'm picking out that I'm really just leaning on our projections for, there's Jamar Chase and Cooper Kupp to combine for 199.5 receiving yards. And it's plus money on the over. And then I look at our projections and we have Jamar Chase project for 87 receiving yards. We have Cooper Kupp project for 121 receiving yards. So the line in itself is close to fair, maybe a little bit low based on our projections, but we're getting plus money on the over there. So just kind of relying on some of the projections, the numbers that we have over on Odd Shopper, it seems to me that the over here, it should probably be like minus 115 or minus 120. Just the fact that we're getting plus 105, I think there's a little bit of value there.
I love that. Yeah, use those Odd Shopper props too, for sure, to compare them against each other. Matt, what do you have?
Well, unfortunately, this can't be played together with that bet because I like it a lot because it would be considered a parlay here. But I like either Joe Burrow or Matthew Stafford to throw 50-plus yard touchdown passes. One just has to do it here. And with the level of playmakers on both sides of the ball, we got Higgins, Beckham, and then, of course, Chase and Kupp. I think you've got solid probability there. I mean, Kupp had a 70-yard touchdown in this playoffs already. Chase hasn't had huge plays, but he's had over 100 yards in both games. I do think that 50-plus yard touchdown passes are more likely in a game like this with these two teams than we have had in recent Super Bowls for sure.
Greg, take over for 1 second. I'm going to grab my coffee.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
We're on Gatorade.
Oh, Gatorade. Cool. So I like Lofty. He's like, hey, it's time to talk about Gatorade. I've got to go because this is a prop that's so important that it's time for, it's
hit any more player specials. If you want, you can hit some player specials too. I'm just trying to move it along. 2 seconds.
Yeah, all good. So, I mean, when we get to the Gatorade, first of all, I'm going to open it by saying, don't bet this one, guys. Don't go bet the Gatorade, but if you are in a pool with friends or something like that, maybe I think DK might be running some of these free pools where you have to pick the Super Bowl color. Here's my strategy with this. My favorite Super Bowl color is blue, right? Or my favorite Gatorade color is blue. That's the one I thought tasted the best when I was a kid and I used to play roller hockey. So I go with blue because it's the one I think tastes the best. Matt, do you have any kind of strategy? Have you looked into any previous Super Bowls to see what color they go with, or are you just like me where you go, this is the one that tastes the best?
I don't have a ton of data, believe it or not, but I do think I'm literally basing this off of what was available at the stores we used to shop at as a kid. And I know that yellow and red were the most available. And so maybe those are the most likely. I'm going to go with yellow/green/lime. I'm seeing it at plus 450 at BetMGM. I don't have a great read on this.
Whoa, wait a second. Is Mike drinking orange Gatorade right now?
Yeah, but he's drinking the crappy 0 one.
Yeah, what is this? He's pretending he's strong.
Wow.
I like how he's muted, but he's still not talking as if it matters. Oh, now he's not muted.
There you go. Gatorade is the way to do that, Mike.
Yeah. Well, being a Philly sports fan isn't helping you with that either.
Yeah. So I was going to go blue as well. And the reason for that would be the Rams have blue in their colors and they're going to win this game. However,
I like it.
However,
Okay.
it's probably a really dumb thought. I mean, look, if I had to justify it, it makes sense, right? But I don't know. Lemon lime's my favorite color. I love the lemon lime Gatorade, hands down, my favorite.
Yep.
Blue's not bad. There used to be a what was it, like Arctic Ice or something? You remember that? It was it's like a kind of
Arctic Chill, dude. The light blue.
Was that
Yes.
it? That's
Or
not what I'm
Arctic
thinking of.
Freeze.
I'm thinking of the one
The
that
white
was,
one?
it was not clear. It was like a murky clear, almost an ice look.
Yeah.
No?
Okay. Now an Arctic Freeze. Is that what? Gatorade
Frost. That was it. The
Gatorade
Frost. They did
Yes.
away with that. 2 of the last 3 years have been blue though, Greg. 2 of the last 3 years. I'll go
Wow.
blue.
All right. Laffy, even though Laffy really redeemed himself there, because I thought he was trying to bail on having to talk about Gatorade colors, but he came way more prepared to talk about than us. So he gets a pass here.
I thought
Okay, I
about
got the
that for at
history.
least 30 seconds today. What's up, Matt?
I got the history here. We've got here's the recent history. Blue, orange, blue, yellow, none, orange, blue, orange, none. So
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
clearly
what type of loser teams do not? It's tradition.
you guess.
Patriots and Ravens.
Here's the teams that don't do it. The Super Bowl is played in New York. You have an old coach, and you go, boy, if we pour cold Gator on this coach,
He's
he
gonna
might go into
kill us.
cardiac arrest right here on the
That's
field.
a great point.
We're not doing it.
Hey,
That's
it was warm that night. It was like it hit 50 degrees. I was in New York for that night. It was not.
They should have
Whatever.
poured like hot chocolate on them, but not too hot. Let it sit for a little bit. Yeah, the Patriots in 2017 and the Ravens in 2013 didn't do it at all. Neither did the Patriots in 2004 or 2002. See, that's interesting because they've done it twice, but then they haven't done it 3 times. I wonder what the prop was on none in 2017 for the Patriots. Probably like even money at that point.
Would have been a smart bet.
I don't know. Either way, orange is plus 200. Blue's 4-1. Not bad. Purple indigo violet is 10-1. There you go. Just go with that one. What a stupid bet. All right, let's keep it going here. Hit that thumbs up too if you haven't done so yet. Yeah, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and remember, stick around tonight if you're playing NBA, deeper dive, live before lock, all that good stuff. And then we got a huge Super Bowl live stream all the way up to lock, I think 3.5 hours on Sunday. It's going to be a lot of fun. Offensive line touchdown. Was this your idea, Matt? This was your idea, right? This was your prop?
Probably.
I believe so.
Sounds like me.
Do you think it's doable? Do we get some type of trick play, right? Do we have some type of, number 76 is now eligible and then grabs one on a shovel pass and bowls his way into the end zone?
I'm thinking like Andrew Whitworth is 40 years old and no one suspects a thing. And they put in 3 tackles and suddenly one's eligible. I don't know. We've seen some weirder stuff. And I know people gravitate towards like the quarterbacks catching touchdowns. I don't know. These aren't like the most inventive goal line offenses in the world. And obviously they have players like on the Rams side, you got Beckham and Kupp who take up a huge percentage of the overall plays inside the goal line. But I've seen weirder things in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I can't find the odds on this one.
It was, I think I saw it at 10-1 earlier.
Sounds pretty bad.
All these, how these lines are bad. I'm gonna give out because I don't have a specific lean on whether an offensive line will or won't score. I mean, obviously the answer would be no. Here's how you know a bet is generally bad. if the book is not offering a no prop to bet on it,
exactly,
then you know that there's maybe a little bit of maybe the potential little bit of treachery afoot, and they're trying to say like, hey, we don't think there's value on this either, but we're not going to let you bet the other side.
Yeah.
Still, if there's enough logic to it, where if you're looking at actual projections, like I said before, where you're looking at OddsShop and you're like, oh, look, if I'm comparing these players' receiving yards together with Cooper Kupp and Jamar Chase, it looks like there's a pretty good chance that this bet has good odds to hit, and it's plus odds. That to me is different than if it's just like, hey, is a quarterback going to score a touchdown? Is a quarterback going to catch a touchdown pass? Yep. 8-1, and there's no on the other side. Chances are it's a shitty bet.
Yeah, or there's a no, but the hold is just insane, right? Like the octopus is plus 1,400, yes, and then minus 2,500, no. So like with a lot of these, even if you wanted to take, granted, you wouldn't do that anyway, but even if you want to, I saw one earlier today that was what was her name? Mickey Guyton, forget a word to the national anthem. No was minus 3,000 and yes. No was minus 3,000 and yes was plus 900. So there's nothing there. There's no meat on the bone with those, but you're right, Greg. A lot of these just don't offer a no and they go, well, people will bet them.
Yeah, I found it. It's a plus 2,200. Yes, an offensive lineman will score a touchdown. So even like,
oh, it's 22-1 or 22-1. You said
it's plus 2,200 right now. So yeah, it's pretty
okay.
big. And so, you could put $5 on this or something like that, real small, and still have a decent payout if it happens.
Offensive lineman. How about this one? Offensive lineman 150-1 to an MVP. Is that the worst bet possible?
That's bad. It would be unprecedented. It's impossible. It's impossible, right? It's got to, because here's why this is the worst bet ever. If the offensive lineman is that good, either the quarterback, wide receiver, or running back are winning that shit before he does. He's just going to pave the way to their MVP win.
They would have to have some sort of like fumble recovery for a touchdown, or like catch a deflected ball for the game winner, like running 60 yards.
Right.
Or something.
It can't be for blocking.
Yeah.
That's a horrible, there's got to be some other just terrible bets out there. I was looking earlier there. I'm pretty sure whenever you get the promotional bets too, you can bet your bottom dollar that they're probably going to be awful as well. It's just the way it is. But
by the way, I wish I would have thought of this before. This could have been a bit. What is the worst bet that you could possibly bet on, the worst value? Because I'm leaning towards that offensive lineman one right now, but there's probably some really bad ones to be found.
It's so bad. I'm looking now. That might be like the worst one.
I mean, the obvious answer actually is the coin flip, just because it's juiced. Like, who's betting a juiced coin flip? I mean, a lot of people do, except that's clearly the most negative EV bet possible.
Yeah. But at least with the coin flip, you have a, 50-50 shot.
Yeah, dude, this is the ultimate, I just want to have money on things game. Like, it's a tradition unlike any other. That's the best part of it. Like, people almost enjoy the fact that they're betting on a coin flip, like they're spinning the roulette wheel on Super Bowl Sunday.
It's a way to christen the game, right? I mean, that's all you're doing. Here's a bad one. Here's a bad one that I would bet 1,000 times over before I bet offensive lineman MVP. No touchdown in the game. Like, I would legitimately bet that 10 times over before I bet an offensive lineman to win the game. That's how bad it is. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if this game goes under, and by a decent, obviously, but like by a decent amount. It would not surprise me at all. Did you see this one? Fastest ball carrier?
Yes. Yeah, I actually have that up on my screen right now as I was scrolling through, and wouldn't you think a kick returner is probably most likely for this?
Oh yeah. But is Matthew Stafford at 65-1 maybe not the worst bet in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, that is a 0% chance.
Zero.
How about CJ Uzoma on one leg to be the fastest of the game? That's not happening either.
This is kind of fun though. I mean, you have to think, because to reach that speed, you need to have some, you need to have some runway, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is Trent Taylor returning kicks?
I think Jamar Chase is probably the best overall athlete from a raw speed perspective on the field.
He is, but I just, plus 275 on that is tough.
What about, I mean, Bubba, I'm not betting this, but
no.
Cooper Kupp is 10-1. Is it that ridiculous that he has a big punt return where he just has a lot of open field to work with and he just ends up being the fastest ball carrier?
I don't think so. They have to be including kick returns, right? I just want to make sure here.
Yeah, Van hit 20 miles an hour. I'm seeing if anyone hit 20 miles an hour in next gen stats this year. Kupp hit 20 miles an hour in week 2.
See, Van Jefferson might just not catch a ball, so that's the difference there.
Mm-hmm.
That would really, the other thing too to consider about Kupp is he's going to get so many more opportunities than anybody else in this game.
Exactly.
He's like, we could just pencil him in for 12 targets and then his work in punt returns also. Like, I think that in itself makes him most likely.
Greg, what do you think? What do you think about hedging this with Chase and Kupp?
The Chase odds are just bad. So if I was going to take one, I would just go with Kupp because I think it's the best value.
All right, but yeah,
I think Van. What are Van's odds at? I don't have it up.
330 plus
330. Kupp is 10-1.
Chase hit it 3 weeks in a row. He hit 20 miles an hour, which will get you on the top 20 list on the Next Gen Stats site, aka I can look it up. He hit it 3 weeks in a row, and in the third week he hit it twice in a game. And we have like maybe 2 players a week hit 21 miles an hour.
You know why I won't bet this? Because it's going to be the shittiest sweat ever if they don't put the Next Gen Stats up there when the plays happen. And like, you have to wait till the end of the game to know, but you have no idea how fast your player was at the time.
What channel is the game on?
What's up?
What channel is the game on?
What is it? ABC? Fox?
Let's see.
Fox?
NBC. Okay, so NBC usually shows the Next Gen Stats more than anybody else. So I think that's less likely because Collinsworth is, all in the PFF life, but I hear your point.
Okay. I just hope they do. Opening kickoff return for a touchdown, Matt. 90
This one's
to 1.
fun. This was fun. Only because I have that great memory of Devin Hester starting off that Super Bowl many a year ago now. What was it, 2008, 2009? But I probably am not betting this one. Neither team has had a huge amount of kickoff success. I don't really have much to say about this one other than if you want to bet yes because you want to go nuts right off the opening kickoff and like have your bet hit before anyone else's, that sounds really fun.
This was crazy to me, Greg. Somebody had thrown this in the chat the other day that 18 of the last 20 opening kickoffs have been returned. Now, I think we have to factor the incentive for taking touchbacks now when that rule came in 2017. But I think even like each of the last 3 years or 4 of the last 5 years or 3 of the last 4 or something have been returned as well. But return for a touchdown. I just looked it up. 10 kickoffs have been returned for touchdowns in the Super Bowl. But as far as opening kickoffs go, this is just a bad bet.
Yeah, it's also another one that I have a feeling they don't offer a no side on.
I don't think so either. What else do we have? Any good ones? Let me see here. But yeah, what's the line on the walk-off field goal?
Walk-off field goal.
I just had it up.
I'm not even sure what that would be under. Let's see. Walk-off
specials,
field goal.
Maybe?
Yes,
Again?
Here it is. Game specials under Super Bowl specials.
Okay.
It's game specials, and it's plus 500 right now for a walk-off field goal at the end of regular time.
Oh, they're not even including overtime?
They're not including overtime.
That's sketchy. I mean, the odds are not good on that, but in the Super Bowl, it's not the craziest thought that a walk-off field goal wins it.
See, these are the plays I like to go when we're talking about like fun bets as we are today. Like the Evan McPherson story, continually winning games for this team, is fun for me. I don't necessarily have data to back up why the yes bet at plus 500 is plus EV, but it's the kind of bet where from a narrative perspective, it's fun when it happens. And if I want to put extra money on the game based on those narratives, instead of just basing it on probabilities, then this is one of those fun bets I might earmark. But like, other than that, it's obviously a low probability event, especially when you can't include overtime in there.
Greg, we going kickoff and the regulation field goal, to win the game.
No, I'm looking through some of the other ones in this tab though to see if there's anything else that that stands out in the game specials. No, the offensive lineman score touchdown. We talked about that one. No, it's just so specific. Field goal, and it has to be at the end of regular time. So that would be a no for me. Successful recover an onside kick, that's 25-1. That's still going to be a no. What about there's nothing here that I really think is appealing from an actual betting standpoint.
Any player to have 175 plus receiving yards is plus 400. I don't hate that. You're basically you're just pooling the probability of Beckham, Higgins, Chase, and Cup.
Where's the first play of the game prop for a run or pass?
Oh, like I saw this one before.
Run has to be juiced. It has to be, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it should be. What's that?
Minus 145.
Okay. Plus 115 on the pass, of course. Do you have any props that stand out, Greg? Just any type of props that you just love this week, as far as like not crazy or stupid props that we want to hit on?
Yeah, I mean, I have one that I've actually bet on that I was kind of saving towards the end, but if we're getting to
let me hold on. Let me just see if there's anything else I wanted to hit on.
Okay.
What should we do MVP first, and then we'll give our best bets out?
Oh, that actually is my best bet.
Oh, perfect. Let's do it.
All right. So I talked a little bit earlier about how I think the game script of this could go, and the Rams' really strong defensive line against the Bengals' leaky offensive line. I think the odds on Aaron Donald are
I hate you, man.
Way too long for MVP. I bet this morning, 16-1 for Aaron Donald to win MVP. I think he could absolutely wreck this game for the Bengals. And I even think that's maybe the most likely outcome is the Bengals offensive line collapsing underneath the pressure of the Rams defensive line. I really like Aaron Donald at 16-1 to win MVP. We've seen defensive linemen win it before. We've seen defensive linemen severely disrupt Super Bowls before, and we've seen it happen in the playoffs to the Bengals. Joe Burrow a few weeks ago against the Titans was sacked more than any other quarterback had ever been sacked in a playoff game. Sure, they won that game, except the offensive line looked terrible. I don't think it's unlikely. In fact, I think it's probably the most likely scenario that that's how this game plays out again. So I bet Donald at 16-1 to win MVP.
So did I. That was I talked about on the ranking show last night. That's why I said I hate you. I was like, there's no way anyone else is going to talk about Aaron Donald winning the MVP. That was mine as well. But I think you and I are seeing, at least we're projecting for a similar game script to play out. So it's not that crazy to assume that. I think those odds are too long as well. And I'm happy to get there. You know, it's funny too, because the last defensive player to win an MVP is across from Aaron Donald. Von Miller won it in Super Bowl 50. Malcolm Smith won it in Super Bowl 48. So this is not unprecedented at all. And Aaron Donald's like the best defensive player that we've seen in a long time. So yeah, if I'm going to throw a bet down on a defensive player to win the MVP, give me the guy that's hardly human. You know, like I'll take that guy all day. And not only, Greg, like you said, did Burrow take 9 sacks in the playoffs? The amount of, or in that game, the amount of sacks he's taken in the playoffs so far is the most since Donovan McNabb in 2003. Granted, 9 came in one game. This is the toughest matchup he's going to face in terms of the defense he's facing. And he took 51 sacks in the regular season and didn't even play in week 18 and still had sacked 4 more times than any other quarterback. So Aaron Donald could make this a hellacious experience for Joe Burrow. I'm with you, man. Let's get that Aaron Donald at 16-1. That would be an awesome way to finish the game.
Yeah, for sure. That's something, like I said, we talked about a lot of dumb things here, whether it be offensive linemen to score or stuff, like the national anthem. This is something I'm actually betting on.
I think we actually provided some good props too, outside of all the wacky, wild, and weirdest of the, but yeah, I think we have some good ones for sure. Matt, what do you have MVP?
Well, one thing I wanted to say is that I agree with you. Right now, looking at those odds, it just doesn't look correct. And I'm annoyed because I can't find a book in New York where I can bet on MVP right now. So that bothers me to no end.
DK doesn't have it in New York?
It doesn't. I cannot find it. And I was sitting there with I was sitting there with our producer, Chris, as well. He couldn't find it. So I think it's off the board. We used a screenshot from our buddy Aton to show us the odds. It was not fun. But anyway, one thing I will give the Bengals credit for, they have absolutely given up too many sacks, but they have faced 6 of the top 10 edge rushers per PFF grades. And in 18 of their weeks in the regular season, they faced a top 25 PFF edge rusher in 12 of those. So Aaron Donald up the middle pressure, that's a whole different story. I'm not going to argue with you there, but they have at least faced defensive line pressure a lot and dealt with sacks and overcome them here. So that's just my little contrarian take. Honestly, I think one of these 2 big wide receivers to win MVP. Again, these are sort of my don't overthink it categories. Like if we come out of Sunday's game and we go, man, Cooper Kupp was the best player on the field and it wasn't even close. That's not weird. That's not anything outside the range of outcomes. So anytime I can take like a plus bet, I think it was plus 550 on FanDuel last I saw it, I'll just take that there. Another one I bet that I actually can bet is that there will be no successful 4th down conversions in the game. It was at plus 230 on FanDuel last I saw it. But right now, these 2 teams, I've actually been pretty conservative. And based on the research that I was doing, a lot of teams actually increase their conservativeness in the Super Bowl, trying to pin back teams. I'm not going to get into the whole analytics argument, but I actually think you actually see a little bit less aggressiveness than you think in the Super Bowl. So I'll take the no on the successful 4th downs.
All right. I like it. Who do you have for MVP, Kupp or Chase?
Kupp or Chase. I think Chase was the same odds as Donald. I think that's wrong, but Kupp at plus 550 I last saw, I would take that all the time.
Okay. So I was thinking about this too, fellas. A good way to wrap this up. And before we do, you guys know this. This isn't really much of like a, promoting stuff on this show. We're having some fun talking bets before the Super Bowl, but we do have free content on the site. NBA player rankings, NHL player projections, and MMA pro plays are all free today. If you want to check out everything else we have, though, awesemo.com/join. All of the tools, any sport you want, single sport, all sport, week, month. You want to make an investment out of a year, however you want to do it. We have everything, all the best tools you're going to find. Fantasy Cruncher add-on on top of that. Check it out. And our Discord channel, if you join, make sure to get in on that. And our office hours in Discord, where you got the pros answering your questions and helping you better your game. So well worth it, no matter what style of play you are, what your budget is. We got you. I was thinking, what's your best bet ever, or worst bet, or most memorable experience in the Super Bowl? I'll give you an example. First of all, is the Eagles winning, but that's obvious, right? But I mentioned this yesterday. Greg, you'll appreciate this. Sometimes sometimes in the Super Bowl, I'll just go with a couple of bets that are outrageous, right? And, you low stakes. First pass of the game to be an interception. Rams, Patriots. I bet that. Super long odds. Brady, amazingly, first pass was an interception. But the other one was, will both quarterbacks throw for 500 plus yards? I think this was the Patriots Falcons game. I'll have to look, or maybe it was 400 plus yards. I got to look it up now. But hit on that at insanely long odds. So I've had some good experiences hitting some wild bets in the Super Bowl, obviously not laying a lot on them, but you always got to take a couple shots here and there for the fun of it. What's your best Super Bowl memory? Betting could be anything.
So for me, I was at my friend Matt's house when we were kids, and we were doing Super Bowl squares, the boxes. And one guy won every single quarter, won every single thing. And we didn't know who this guy was. It was one of his dad's work friends who was at his house for the party. And we were convinced he cheated. And we talked about this for years. that we were convinced this guy cheated. It was just one of those things from, like childhood, these weird things that stick on about, and like these people don't even know that they're a part of your life. You talk about them constantly and they don't even know you exist. But then one day, 6 years later, we were playing golf and he ended up getting paired with us at a golf course, and we put 2 and 2 together, and we just kind of grilled him the entire time if he ever cheated on the Super Bowl box pool. Ends up he was legit, but for whatever reason, because actually I think that might have been my first gambling experience on any sort of anything. Now that I'm thinking back on it, was Super Bowl boxes. I was probably like 8 years old at the time.
That's great.
But yeah, so that was the first experience I ever had with sports betting. I was convinced that I was getting screwed by the book, essentially. So there we go. That was my introduction to sports betting.
Beautiful. What about you, Matt? And I can't figure out what game this was. I can't remember what game it was.
I wasn't directly involved in this one, but I was at one of those Super Bowl parties you sometimes end up at where like half the people are like don't even know what football is, and they're just there to Super Bowl, and they like don't even have any idea what's going on. And it was, I think, 2013, the year that Beyonce was performing the halftime show. And it just ended up being one of those rooms where like the game was like loud and rambunctious, but all of a sudden when the halftime show started, it was like silence. Everyone is watching intently. And it turns out that this room of people I didn't really know had money all over this Beyonce halftime performance. And there was money flying around the room. We had no idea what was happening. People screaming their heads off during this 5-minute performance. It was absolutely wild.
That's awesome. I'll tell you, there was a game where both quarterbacks threw for like 400 plus yards, and I can't remember what it was. I don't know. Maybe I'm just dreaming it. But anyway.
Is it Foles and Brady? Foles didn't maybe have those stats.
Nah, Foles I think was like 386 or something.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was. Whatever. It's unimportant. But anyway, this has been fun, fellas. So we got our favorite bets in. I'll recap a couple of mine just so we're not like bogged down by all this crazy stuff. I like Van Jefferson over Tyler Boyd. You're getting plus money there. I like, and again, it's not just a prop, it's the odds you're getting too. I like even money on under 6.5 players to have a reception for the Bengals. Pay attention to CJ Usama though. If he's not on a snap count, I think he plays 90% of snaps, and that makes this a much, much better bet. Greg, we both like the Aaron Donald one for sure. What are your favorite ones for this Super Bowl 56?
Yeah, so my actual favorite ones, it was the Aaron Donald to win the MVP. We had that at 16-1, and then something else also. It was plus money, plus 105 for Cooper Kupp and Jamar Chase to have 199.5 or more receiving yards. And actually, for reference, if we're just line shopping it, which is kind of the point of what we have at Odd Shopper also, which is trying to find the best lines with the best books and just comparing some of those numbers. So DK has that at plus 105 for 199.5. FanDuel has it at 200.5, so 1 yard more, but also has it even money as opposed to plus 105. So at least that would indicate a little bit of value.
I like that. Matt, favorite bets overall, just to recap here for all of our listeners and viewers out there.
Cooper Kupp to win MVP, the don't overthink it bet, and there will be no successful 4th down conversions in the game, plus 230 over at FanDuel last I checked.
Let's do it. We'll be back with you. Do we have Super Bowl show content tomorrow? I'm sure we do. I mean, it's just like every day at this point. Tournament strategy, Neil and you and Greg. Oh no, that's tomorrow, right? You got a tournament strategy show tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay, good stuff. And then we've got we're running the gauntlet on Sunday. We got NFL First Look at 3:30, 4:30 Deeper Dive, 5:30 Live Before Lock. We're doing it big around here, boys. Matt Savoca at Draftaholic, Greg at G Ehrenberg DFS. You guys got anything else going on that we should know about?
Just the usual stuff. NBA Deeper Dive, NBA Live Before Lock. We'll be doing those shows later on today. NBA Injury Report, I'm going to do that with Adam Schur in the afternoon, which always is going to be important for the NBA slate, especially now because there's so many players who are moving around from team to team with the trades, and we'll be covering that, even though it's technically an injury report show. Anything that's changed roster-wise, we're talking about that as well.
And Matt, you got a lot of stuff going on for the you got a bunch of videos on demand, short content coming out. You're on the Live Before Lock show on Sunday, so you're gonna be busy, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got you covered with those contenders videos, those top plays. I got a matchups column. I got a top props column to add on to this show here. And of course, I'll be with you leading up to kickoff. That's going to be really, really fun, that last hour before.
All right. And I'm just looking at this. It must have been like 350 plus yards for both. And it was Foles and Brady. I can't find the other one. So I don't know. But there was something that went on that day. I was drunk. Anyway, follow me at Loughy_D, LOUGHY_D. Shout out to Mike Lawrence for producing the show. We'll see you back here. A little NBA action tonight and a whole lot more coming up on the channel throughout the afternoon. Peace.